Which driver has fared best during the races? Hello, my name is Alex Does F1 Stuff, and welcome back to, I think I'm going to call this part 2, as it couples extremely nicely with a video that I'm probably going to have uploaded today. I might even upload these at the same time, you know. And that is, of course, the which driver has fared best in the qualifying so far, as we have reached the halfway point in the season. So I thought it's a good idea to make a video analysing each team or each driver's performances against their teammates so far in qualifying and the races. So for those who haven't seen the qualifying video, I'll pop a little card to that in the corner as I explain each of the pro formas for the graphs and the data that's going to be on the screen. I will do a little rundown of it as I get up to it, but it is explained better in the qualifying video. But with all of that yibba yabba out of the way, let's jump straight on in to Mercedes and let's pull up all of their races so far. We've got Valtteri Bottas on the left in the sort of greeny colour, and we've got Lewis Hamilton on the right. Ignore the fact that it says minus 22.729 for Valtteri Bottas' side, as that's an easy way of just me plopping stuff on the left hand side and Lewis on the right. And if we just pull up their head-to-head battle so far for the races, it is 7-3 in favour of Lewis Hamilton. Now what I have done is I've also averaged out each driver's advantage in front of the other, and that comes to 18.7 seconds in front for Lewis and 12.7 seconds in front for Valtteri. And the little statistic visual thing that is popping up next is a simple way of visualizing this advantage. So it is a 40% advantage for Valtteri Bottas compared to a 59.5% advantage for Lewis Hamilton, and that is simply worked out by doing 18 seconds divided by 18 plus 12 seconds to get 59.5. And the reason I do that is to work out how even each teammate is. If they were 50-50, both teammates would have the same average advantage when in front of each other, but if it was slightly more advantageous, so say it was 75-25, one driver would have a larger advantage than the other. Also, apologies if you can hear any random noises outside. I've currently got builders on the pavement going across. They're doing some gas works or internet works or something, digging up the pavement, making a lot of noise, and I also have an extremely yappy dog as a neighbour. But anyway, with that out of the way, let's move on into team number 2, and that is Red Bull. We are going in reverse championship order as well. We have Max Verstappen on the right and Alex Albon on the left. First thing you should notice is that Austria is missing, and that's because both drivers failed to finish this race. However, if we pull up their head-to-heads, it is 8-2 in favour of Max Verstappen, as he managed to complete more laps than Alex Albon in Austria. And if we just average out the gaps in front of each other, it is a 43.9 second advantage for Max compared to nothing for Alex Albon, as both times Alex Albon was in front, Max failed to finish the race. And if we just pull up the statistic advantage visual for this, it is a quite clear 100% advantage to Max Verstappen. And with that, we move to team number 3, and that is McLaren. We have Carlos Sainz on the left and Lando Norris on the right. 2 DNFs in a row for the Spaniard, with a didn't start as well in Belgium. If we pull up their head-to-heads though, this is 7-3, similar to the Mercedes pair, but with a 14.3 second advantage for Lando Norris and a 14.9 second advantage for Carlos Sainz, which is extremely even, as evident by my percentage statistics comparison. 50.9% for Carlos Sainz compared to 49.1% for Lando Norris. And then team number 4, we've got the Pink Panthers of Racing Point, and again, similar to the qualifying advantage, the 70th anniversary and the British Grand Prix have been excluded, as Sergio Perez was not present. And if we pull up their head-to-head so far, it is 4-4 for Lance Stroll and Sergio Perez, with the average advantage in front being just 6 thousandths of a second. And that was the 3-way battle in Styria, with the 2 Racing Points and the Renault as well, compared to 7.7 seconds in front for Lance Stroll. Stroll definitely having a better year so far. And if we just visualise this with the percentages, it is a very clear one-sided battle. 99.2% for Stroll compared to just 0.8% for Sergio Perez. And with that, we move to team number 5, and that is Renault. We have Esteban Ocon on the left and Daniel Ricciardo on the right. Another extremely one-sided team, as it is 8 2 to the Australian, with an average advantage of 18.1 seconds in front of the Frenchman, compared to Ocon, who is yet to actually be in front of Daniel Ricciardo. Both times he was in front, Ricciardo either failed to finish, as in Austria, or was over a lap down, as in the 70th anniversary Grand Prix, and was therefore not eligible for like a time, if that makes sense. And again, if we just visualize this in a statistics way, 0% for Esteban Ocon compared to 100% for Daniel Ricciardo. I was about to say Esteban Ocon twice, but that wouldn't have made any sense at all. And moving from Renault, we head to team number 6, and that is Scuderia Ferrari. We have Sebastian Vettel on the left and Charles Leclerc on the right. Styria and Italy are both missing, as both drivers failed to finish each of these races, with the teammate head-to-head battles being 7-3, as Charles Leclerc was actually able to do more laps in Italy and Styria than Sebastian Vettel, with an average advantage in front of 22.7 seconds for Leclerc and 18.5 seconds for Vettel. But what does this mean in terms of my statistics visualization? It is a 44% score for Sebastian Vettel compared to a 55.2% score for Charles Leclerc. As we move into the lower end of the grid, we have Alfa Tauri with Danny Kvyat on the left and Pierre Gasly on the right. It is fairly even as you can get. 5-5 for the Alfa Tauri pair, 17.4 second advantage for Pierre Gasly and a 16.7 second advantage for Danny Kvyat. And actually, this is extremely even. We have an average advantage of 49% for Danny Kvyat and exactly 51% for Pierre Gasly. We've always said that Pierre Gasly is having the season of his life so far, and yet Danny Kvyat, according to my statistics here, is having just as good a season. Maybe not so much in terms of the results that he's been getting, but compared to Pierre Gasly, each driver is nearly the same. Bloody hell, how many sirens are going to drive past my house? And next up, we have Alfa Romeo, a team that is a little bit more one-sided. We've got Giovinazzi on the left and Raikkonen on the right. It is another team that is 7-3 in favour of Raikkonen, with an average advantage in front of 12.2 seconds, compared to just 3.8 when in front for Giovinazzi. Which, if we pull up there, our drivers' I keep naming this statistic different every single time. We have an average percentage of 29.3% for Giovinazzi compared to just 71% for Kimi Raikkonen. And that percentage is wrong, it should say 71.7. 70.7, not 71.7. I fell into the old maths trap there. And penultimately, we have Haas, with Kevin Magnussen on the left and Romain Grosjean on the right. First thing to note, we've had 4 DNFs for Kevin Magnussen. That is crazy. And also both drivers failed to finish in Austria, and if we just pull up the leaderboards here, it is 6-4 in favour of Grosjean, with Grosjean outperforming Magnussen even though he retired, with an average advantage in front of 8.7 seconds for Grosjean, but 23.5 for Kevin Magnussen. And the visualization of this data here shows it is a 72% advantage for Magnussen compared to just a 27% advantage for Grosjean. And then finally we have Williams, with Nicholas Latifi on the left and George Russell on the right. And this one is a little bit more even, not as dominant as his qualifying performances for Russell, 6-4, with an average advantage in front of 16.8 seconds and 16 flat for Nicholas Latifi, which if we pull up a visualization of this, it is just 48% for Nicholas Latifi compared to 51.3% for George Russell. And don't worry, those of you that are trying to keep track of each of these individual scores, as I have a graph here, one final graph of each individual score lined up in order. We've got Max Verstappen leading the way, 43.9, then it is a big step down to Kevin Magnussen, then Charles Leclerc, both above 20 seconds in front. Then we've got Hamilton, Vettel, Ricciardo, Gasly, Russell, Kvyat, Latifi, Sainz, Norris, Bottas and Raikkonen all above 10 seconds in front, with Grosjean, Stroll, Giovinazzi and Perez all above nothing, with Albon and Ocon all the way at the bottom, who have actually yet to stay in front of their teammate, scoring a time in front. And with that, that is the end of my who has fared best in the races. If you haven't seen the qualifying video, I will still pop that somewhere on the screen so you can go and watch that, as they do pair quite nicely together. I will be doing one of these again at the end of the season and possibly comparing the positions halfway through the season to the positions at the end of the season. But that is all I've got for you today, guys. I hope you have enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next episode with whatever and whenever I decide to make it. I'll see you guys then.